The dust is a ghost in their throats. For 3 days the sun has been a merciless hammer, and the land offers nothing but cracked earth and brittle, leafless shrubs. The clan moves like a river of slow despair, their shoulders slumped, the weight of their crude stone tools a heavy burden. They are Homo Erectus, the upright walkers, but now they feel bent low by a hunger that gnaws deeper than any predator's teeth. The old man at the lade, his skin a map of scars and sun, halts on the ridge, one hand raised. The others stop behind him, their shallow breaths puffing in the hot, still air. He sniffs, his brow furrowed, tilting his head to catch the faint message on the wind. It is not the coppery tang of a fresh kill, nor the familiar scent of decay that promises scraps. It is something else. Heavy, stagnant, wrong. He crests the ridge, and the clan follows, their bare feet silent on the hot stone. Below them lies a valley, a shallow bowl of grey rock and withered ferns, and in it, the silence is made of stone. They lie scattered as if a giant's child had tired of its toys. Ankylosaurus, each a fortress of bone and keratin, no slung and immense, their clubbed tails resting motionless in the dust. There are no signs of a struggle, no splinter trees, no blood-soaked turf, no circling pterodactyls waiting for their turn. They simply lie there, their armored bodies looking like enormous, mossy boulders under the unforgiving sky. This is not how these dinosaurs die. This is not a scene from the normal rhythm of prehistoric life. A low murmur ripples through the 20 survivors. Fear wrestles with a desperate, savage hope. The scent of so much meat is a siren's call to their starving bodies, a promise of full bellies and strength regained. But the scene below is a chilling testament to a power they cannot comprehend. What hunts the unhuntable, what killer leaves no mark, the old man, leads the slow descent into the valley of the dead. Their survival skills scream at them to run, but their empty stomachs root them to the spot. They approach the nearest carcass, a colossal female, her head tucked to one side as if in sleep. The flies are a buzzing shroud, but there are no other scavengers. Even the smallest conceptualizers are absent. The old man kneels. He runs a hand over the thick, pebbled hide, his fingers tracing the rows of bony plates. He checks for bite marks, for the deep gouges of a tyrannosaur, for the raking claws of a utahraptor. Nothing. He pries open the great beak. He is performing a kind of primitive paleontology, reading the story in the bones, but the pages are blank. This is a mystery from the dawn of ancient history, a puzzle that must be solved. A young male, impatient, raises his stone axe, ready to strike and shatter the armor to get to the flesh within. The old man's hand shoots out, grabbing his wrist with surprising strength. He shakes his head once, his gaze sweeping across the silent, unnerving graveyard. To eat is to risk the same fate. To flee is to starve. Here in this quiet valley, a new chapter in human evolution is about to be written, not with the sharp edge of their ancient tools, but with the dawning spark of a question why. The young male relents, his frustration giving way to a grudging respect for the old man's caution. There is wisdom in those deep-set eyes, a kind of seeing that goes beyond what is merely visible. The old man releases his wrist and points, not at the meat, but at the valley itself. He gestures with his chin towards the high ridges, then to the silent bodies, then to his own eyes. The command is clear, unspoken but perfectly understood. Watch, think, learn. This is the foundation of their primitive technology, not the chipped stone in their hands, but the ability to observe and reason. The clan splits without a word. 3 of the strongest males, armed with heavy throwing stones, move to the valley entrance, their eyes scanning the horizon for the approach of any scavenger large enough to challenge them. The rest, led by the elder, begin the grimoire. They move from one colossal carcass to the next. This is no longer a frenzied assessment for food, but a methodical investigation, a collective act of reasoning that marks a pivotal moment in hominid history. A young female, her fingers deft from weaving reed baskets, runs her hand along the flank of a juvenile, tracing the intricate pattern of fused osteoderm is that from its impenetrable shield. She probes the seams where the armor meets the softer underbelly, searching for a puncture. Another man uses the sharp edge of a flint flake to scrape at the creature's lips, looking for foaming saliva or signs of sickness. The old man himself walks the perimeter of the graveyard, his gaze fixed on the ground. He is not looking at the dead. He is reading the story of their final moments, searching for the path they took into this trap. The air grows heavy, the sky bruising from a brilliant, cruel blue to a slate gray. A low rumble echoes from the distant mountains, the growl from the throat of the prehistoric world. The wind shifts, carrying the scent of rain in ozone. They have little time. The old man follows a set of faint, broad tracks, the last path of the herd's matriarch. The trail leads away from the main cluster of bodies towards a shallow, stagnant pool of water nestled against the far cliff wall, the only water source in the entire basin. As he approaches, he notices something is wrong. The water is unnaturally still. A slick, greenish-purple film rests on its surface, shimmering faintly in the dimming light. There are no water insects skimming its surface, no frogs calling from its reedy edges. It is a place of profound silence. He kneels at the edge, waving away younger claws to cup the water in his hands. He dips the end of his spear into the pool. When he pulls it out, the wooden tip is coated in the viscous oily film. A woman joins him, the one who knows roots and berries. She points a trembling finger not at the water, but at the plants growing around its edge. They are familiar, broad-leafed ferns, but their fronds are twisted, their edges blackened and curled as if burned by a sudden frost. It is a sickness in the land itself. The clan gathers around the pool, their hunger momentarily forgotten, replaced by a dawning, terrifying understanding. The killer was not a creature of tooth and claw. It was silent, patient, and invisible. As the first fat drop of rain strikes the dust at their feet, they stare into the poisoned water, realizing they have found not just the cause of death, but a source of power unlike any they have ever known. The rain falls now, a steady, hissing curtain that washes the dust from the air and slicks the bony plates of the dead. The clan huddles together, their eyes fixed on the poisoned pool, the quiet culprit of this mass death. A profound shift is occurring within their collective mind. The world for the first time is not just a place of immediate threats of teeth, horns, and claws, but a place of hidden rules and secret dangers. This is a leap in human evolution, a move from reaction to deduction. The old man points to the matriarch's tracks leading to the water, then points to the swollen gut of the beast. He minds drinking, then clutches his own stomach and collapses to the ground in a mock death. The message is simple, yet revolutionary. They drank. The spark ignites. The young male who had been so eager to use his axe now stares at the water with a new kind of awe. He understands. The danger was not in the flesh, but in the water inside the flesh. Their ancient tools are useless against such a foe, but their minds are not. A plan forms, communicated through guttural sounds and sharp gestures. The storm is worsening, the wind now a low moan through the valley. They must work fast. They will carve away the great muscles of the haunches and the thick meat along the spine, leaving the poisoned organs untouched for the flies and the rain. They descend upon the silent herd like a pack of wolves that has learned the art of butchery. Stone axes, once used for desperate smashing, now strike with precision at the joints. Flint knives, sharp enough to slice hide, are wielded with a surgeon's care. The sounds of cracking bone and tearing sinew fill the valley, a gruesome but focused industry. They work in pairs, their movements efficient, their faces grim with concentration. This is more than a hunt, it is an excavation. The very first act of applied paleontology, where early humans are not just finding fossils, but creating them, learning the anatomy of giants to ensure their own survival. They are no longer just ancient humans cowering from dinosaurs. They are interacting with the deep systems of their prehistoric world. As they work, the old man returns to the pool's edge. He finds a hollowed-out gourd from his satchel, one normally used for carrying precious fresh water. He carefully scoops up the shimmering, toxic liquid. Tugging the top with a wad of moss, he holds it up, not to his lips, but towards the valley entrance. His eyes are not on the dead Ankylosaurus anymore. They are looking past this immediate victory, towards the future. He sees a water hole where a thirsty Spinosaurus might drink. He sees the tip of a spear coated in this silent death, plunged into the flank of an unsuspecting prey. They came to this valley as scavengers, desperate and starving. They will leave it as something more. They will leave with full bellies. Yes, but also with a weapon more potent than any sharpened stone. They will leave with an idea. The clan departs as the storm breaks, their bodies bent under the weight of salvaged meat, their minds ignited by the weight of a new understanding. They leave the Valley of Silent Stone behind, a monument of burn and poison that will be picked clean by lesser creatures and eventually buried by time. But the event itself is not buried. It becomes a story told around a flickering fire, a lesson passed down through generations. It is the moment the question why became a sharper tool than any flint axe. That day in that valley, our human ancestors did not simply overcome a challenge, they changed the nature of the game. They graduated from being participants in the brutal ecosystem to being its first true students, its first detectives. Their careful examination of the dead, their deduction of a hidden cause, was the birth of the scientific method in its most primal form. Every laboratory, every investigation, every leap of human knowledge we celebrate today has its deepest roots in that desperate, starving clan's refusal to accept a mystery. They proved that the greatest power on this ancient earth was not the thickest armor or the sharpest tooth, but the courage to look upon the inexplicable and forge an answer. These are the echoes in our bones. This is the chronicle of the first answer. But a new shadow is learning to hunt from the sun.